In today's video, I am going to be comparing and of course showing the differences and similarities between a half court and a full court press. There's also different versions of each as well and how they run. So let's get down, let's check this out, but really quickly, make sure to go check out my Deadly Defensive Strategies book that is down in the description below. That is an absolutely deadly set of defenses that you can run that will trap players all over the place. So definitely go check that out. Now let's get down and let's check out these presses. Okay, so this is what we're going to start with is the diamond press, which is a 1-2-1-1 full court press. And this is generally how a lot of teams are going to set it up. But there are two ways of running it. The first way is to force a trap as early as possible with either 2-1 or with 3-1. If we are trying to really hammer a team, if they, let's say they can't handle the ball, pass, whatever, if we can trap them early in these spots, you are going to be at a massive advantage. However, teams that pass really well and they get the ball somewhere in this area, they are going to be able to pass out of this quite easily if you try and trap up early. So for example, a team that passes extremely well, as soon as they make that inbounds pass, if you go and try and trap and this guy is not fast enough coming down to try and cut off player one, then this reverse pass out to player one is going to be really easy. Now he's going to be on a 3-on-2 situation very early, which gives them a massive advantage to get down court and score. If this is not a very good passing team, very slow team, let's say, and teams start really trying to overplay, there's not many passes left because he's going to steal it, can't pass here, and anything cross court is going to get intercepted by 4 or 2. So if the other team works really slow, then this complete throw everything, including the kitchen sink style full court press, will work extremely well. There's different versions. You can run a 2-2-1 as well. This is quite deadly. Again, same principles where they get the balls to the corner, except now it's going to be generally considered a press where now player 2 is going to try and force sideline. Player 2 is going to move over. 3 and 1 are going to move over. 5 kind of moves, starts moving back. If they pass up sideline, player 4 needs to intercept. If they start dribbling up sideline, now the defense plays somewhat conservatively until they trap on these corners. So there's different types of full court presses. Basically, there's a type where you throw everything at them and try and trap them in these corners. And then there's other types of full court presses that allow the team to get the ball up the court slowly, but forces the sideline so that they can trap here. This is widely known as the trap locations for most full court as well as half court traps. However, there are some teams that are just happy to trap anywhere and they'll throw a trap on at 3/4 court. They'll throw a trap on early where, let's say, we've run this full court really tough, really tight, where they get that ball to the sideline. The teams could trap right away. This is another option even out of a 2-2-1. However, this is very risky once you start getting to older age groups. So a lot of coaches will actually run a hard and a soft full court press. They have different wording for them, but generally speaking, a hard full court press, so hard diamond, means you're going to try and trap up along their baseline. Soft means you play conservative, you allow them to get the ball up court, however, they have to move it up slowly. They're going to be obviously passing and not dribbling, but the ball's going to be advanced slowly, which if there's a shot clock, now they're kind of rushed against time, but you're allowing them to move the ball up slowly. It slows the game down quite substantially. However, as soon as they hit half or where you want to trap along the sideline, you trap fast, and then it catches the team off guard. So you could be running you could say half soft. What that means is a 3/4 court trap. You could run hard, which means trap along their sideline. You could run soft, which means allow them to get up court but trap at half. There's a lot of different ways that you can run that full court press. Now, one of the most popular half court traps is a 1-3-1, and a lot of teams will run this differently as well. And what I mean by that is I personally love to try and hammer teams as hard as possible, as fast as possible. And how I would do this is to have 2 trap top and bottom, have 3 trap bottom corners, have 1 trap top corners, and 4 trap top and bottom. That's how you would trap. Other coaches may want to try and force that ball to be swung around, because a lot of teams will try to beat a zone by going to the corners. I don't know why. I always like to try and beat teams down the middle. This is kind of the dead area for a zone, but a lot of teams will swing the ball to the corners. So a lot of coaches will allow a soft top of their zone, allow the ball to be swung, and what happens is they will force the trap with these 3 players. Now, when that happens with a 1-3-1 as an example, if the ball goes to this corner, this is going to be a trap. Player 5, depending on your coach, may go over to the high post, and player 2 would then need to drop, versus other coaches where player 5 will drop and player 2 covers the weak side. Now, I find this a little bit more better, where you've got player 2 playing the bottom. Even though he has a lot greater distance to travel, this is much better, because now player 5 can drop into the post, and that can be more beneficial to you as a team, because now it allows a big man to have the momentum going towards the rim for blocks and things like that. But I like the big man in the middle to stay in the middle, just because he's generally one of the slower guys. At least if I'm coaching, I generally have a slower big center and doesn't really move very fast. So being in the middle, he's kind of the guy who tries to hammer other guys who try to cut down middle. He just kind of stands in front of them, and they run into him, and obviously not great things happen then. Another option for traps, what I've seen a lot of, is a 1-2-2, and this kind of runs into same type of style as a weak 1-3-1. So basically, you would be looking to trap at the bottoms, and when that happens, so let's say the ball goes to this side, these guys trap, these guys move over to cover this side, and player 1 kind of plays the kick-out man. But what's weak against older teams is that cross-court pass. They can make those at the senior level, at the junior level. Those passes to this side can be made. So 1-2-2 is not always great unless you've got very fast guys who are in that box. But generally speaking, in a half-court trap, the ball's going this way. What is really trying to happen is, if they're playing strong, they're trying to trap in those 4 corners. If they're playing a weak trap, they're trying to force the ball into the bottom corners. That is essentially the differences between a full court and half court trap, instead of just saying, well, my guys are playing full court instead of just at half. I hope that this video has helped you. Make sure to go check out my Unbeatable Basketball Zone Defense book that is down in the description below, but also my Deadly Defensive Strategies that is down there as well. I'll see you guys again in my next video. Hit that like button and subscribe.